Hi guys, and welcome to the Bridge Views. My name is Ashley Kougher, and we will be interviewing people from all walks of life, different industries, different fields, different states, different everything. So for our first ever The Bridge Views, we have Alvin Watson here with us today.
Yes. Thank you for letting me be a first.
Yes, the first.
Yes.
So you have Kids Are Chefs,
Yes.
and you are located here in Atlanta.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
Since 2014.
Okay, and what is Kids Are Chefs?
So Kids Are Chefs, it started out initially as a kids cooking and talk show, which evolved also now to a school. So it's Kids Are Chefs Educational Academy, as well as Kids Are Chefs Cooking and Talk Show.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit because you have a very interesting background. When I was reading everything, I was like, oh my goodness. So you started something called, well, you went to law school, right?
So no, so what I did, I came here to go to law school, and as like Atlanta would be, you end up doing something totally different. So I worked for a couple of law firms, decided law school being a lawyer was not for me.
No.
Yeah. No,
you couldn't defend the bad guys?
Exactly. I don't know how you know. I know if I couldn't do it, get someone out of trouble for something they probably did do, and then I'm feeling some kind of way, so no.
Okay, and then you had your background in beeper pages.
So,
can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, so my degree is in marketing, and I guess that's where all of the wheels are always turning, coming up with stuff. But I used to have a company called the Beeper Pages. Actually, it's a telephone book for people that had pagers and cell phones back way.
I was gonna say, you're taking this way back.
Way back. So
way
it
back.
was the Beeper Pages, and went from that to several other things. But it was a telephone book for people that had pagers and cell phones.
So for people that may not know, the phone book was a book that everybody used to get that had everyone's phone numbers and businesses listed.
Yes.
And then this is when we had house phones.
Right.
Pre-cell phones. Yes. Put your finger in, make it wait.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you had a beeper where
Yes.
it would show a number and then like a short little message.
Right.
So what did you do with beeper pages that was different?
So just like the landline phone, if you can remember, the Yellow Page book had the businesses in the back and then residential stuff in the front. So the beeper page was the same way, had residential, so to speak, your beeper page number in there. And then if you had a business, it had that listed in there. Only difference was one was beepers, the other was landline phones.
And nobody came up with that before you?
No.
That's crazy.
I'm always first.
And how old were you when you did that?
Oh, I don't even remember. I sprung, let me see, it's 20, no, that was in 98. So 98 from whatever this is, I would have to be 40 something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very revolutionary. So you've always had like an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like an edgy idea about, yeah.
So now you're in Atlanta. You decided, we did finish beeper pages. We moved forward. We said no to law school. So then what happened?
So after the beeper pages, man, I've had a lot of different businesses, but the main crux of them, I think about, I used to have a copy center called Just Copies.
Okay.
And I was on the corner of 10th and 17th Street. I mean, on 10th Street, there was a Kinko's on 17th Street. I was kind of giving them a little run for their money. I had all of the right there on the corner. You could. That's where our copy center was. So
you did copies of what? Just like work stuff or anything?
It was just like Kinko's. It was
Okay.
mine was called Just Copies.
I love it. Did you undercut or how did you get more business?
I did some business stuff.
Okay.
I did some business stuff. Yeah, I mean,
It's like that sometimes. Okay. So then Just Copy, and then what other entrepreneurial things have you done?
I've done Just Copies, and then I had Homebase Marketing. Homebase Marketing is I still have the marketing firm. We develop websites, apps, any type of marketing type thing, graphics design, all that media type stuff. So that's Homebase Marketing, which still exists, but I only do like websites and apps every now and then when I have the time to do it. And I actually like doing that a lot. So I have that. And then Old Fashioned Health Network.
Okay.
Which brings us to what you
Where
have
we
now.
now.
Yeah, so Old Fashioned Health Network is a network that has a group of different podcasts that people have or that we do here because we have that media center over there. And so you can come in and get your podcast done here. And then
So where is here? Where are we?
So we're at 236 Auburn Avenue, right down in the heart of by the King Center.
And you're not far from here, right? You're based, like you've been Atlanta.
Yeah. I've lived like around the corner from the school for 12 years.
That's crazy.
So it's like walking distance to go. So but things are changing, so I'm making some changes. Kind of doing a little driving now. But yeah, so we had Old Fashioned Health. Old Fashioned Health had Kids or Chefs under it, Kids or Chef Cooking and Talk Show, and we would add other shows under it. We had this one podcast. We had several different podcasts on there. I'm trying to think of one that old school. Can't think of the old school, but he knows what I'm saying when he hears it. But they had this podcast. It was really, really cool. It had like
like a throwback vibe.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Free and what's his name?
AJ and Free.
AJ and Free. It was kind of like that. Kicking it with old school.
Okay.
Yeah, kicking it old school. Yeah, they were kicking it with old school. That was they had a podcast, Kicking in Old School, that was on here. Then I still have Trying Success, which is one of my podcasts on here. Several different podcasts was on Old Fashioned Health Network, along with Kids or Chefs. And then Kids or Chef kind of branched off and started doing its own thing.
Okay, so tell me where we are, because this facility is amazing.
So right now we are in my production kitchen. Y'all might see some stuff going on around here. We had a cooking class event for kids that were ages 3 to 4 years old.
That's crazy. And you're really teaching them how to cook.
They had a good time. You have to see the video. They had a good time. They knew how to follow the steps. I mean, it's 3 little steps. They got the sauce, they got the cheese, they got the meat, and they knew exactly what to do.
So when you say they have the sauce, the cheese, and the meat, you're vegan, right?
Yes, and that's everything that they had was all plant-based.
Okay, so when you say meats and cheeses, it wasn't actual like dairy cheese, and it wasn't like pepperoni.
No.
Okay, so
they didn't even think about pepperoni. They had vegan plant-based sausages and stuff like that, and vegan cheese.
So do you primarily only teach them how to cook with vegan and teach them how to make
everything
vegan?
at this school is all plant-based.
Okay.
So everything plant-based. I figure when you leave here, you can always go back to doing what you normally do. But I'm trying to give kids some alternatives. There's a different way you can eat a hamburger, and it don't have to necessarily be like ground beef and all that, ground turkey, and it still tastes just as good.
I'm not a tofu fan, and
I'm not either.
I don't like the Impossible burgers.
Nope.
But I love like a good black bean burger.
So a good black bean burger, it would be my number one thing, and I've taught that for spring camp. The kids learn how to make black bean burgers, and then those other kind of processed plant-based foods. I'm telling y'all, listen, it's better than eating meat. It digests better, but it has so much sodium in it.
Not even the sodium. There's so many things that you can't pronounce.
Right. When it comes to, that they put in to make it, it's because it's still processed. Actually, I mean, you get a Beyond Burger, and you take it to all these multiple stores. How you think it's lasting on the shelf?
I've never had that. I've never had any of the Impossible meat. It just,
Impossible
it's really weird.
It's just out, if I do anything, it'll be Beyond, not Possible.
I haven't done the Beyond products either. Yeah. So you're okay with the Beyond products?
Over Impossible, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kids or Chefs, what are the age groups that you do here?
So it's
because 3 is young.
Yeah. So 3 all the way up to seniors. So we have at the school, we have kids and seniors both come take classes.
Okay.
Our 3-year-olds and 3, 4, 5 years, they don't necessarily take classes. They can come and they can do drawing, and they can do little cooking things like cookies and pizzas and stuff like that. But then our more advanced kids come in taking the reading, the writing, coding, programming.
So you have a whole school here, not just the chef side.
Not just the chef. We do more than cooking.
Okay.
I like to say we do more than cooking.
I love it. So it's 3 to what, like 16, 17?
Right, as far as the kids. And then the seniors and the adults come and take continuing education classes, because the senior comes on 3rd Saturdays, and they have this thing called Senior Saturdays. And they either cook, they taking sewing classes, they taking health and wellness classes. So they take the same,
That's amazing. And then for seniors, so it's like 55 and up.
Yes, the oldest senior I've ever had in here was 89 years old, and she was in here dancing and doing everything else, cooking That is so funny. Is it ever hard for you, like when you're trying to teach? Because I'm just thinking about my grandma, and she had a situation with kidney stones, and I was like, you have to lay off the sweet tea. You gotta chill, and telling her to relax on the sugar and substitute honey in her tea instead of sugar. Right. And that was just a lot. So do you ever have issues with I'm not doing that, or this isn't going to be good? So when the seniors come and their first thing is I didn't know how this was gonna be, but this sure is good. And they would actually call me and say, we had salmon croquettes. I know they wasn't salmon, baby, but how did you make that? And I've taught them how to make salmon croquettes, but it's not actually fish.
What do you do with the artichoke?
Yeah, hearts of palm.
Hearts of palm. Okay.
Hearts of palm, and then all of the things. So I've taught them how to make foods, and especially for my seniors and the adults, if you're dealing with high blood pressure and all those kind of things, I'm trying to get you to eat foods that's a little healthier for you than a lot of stuff with a lot of sodium in it.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I do have some extra questions for you.
I'm ready.
Let's back up. Where are you originally from?
I was born in Mississippi.
Oh,
a little town in Mississippi called Grenada, Mississippi. And Grenada is actually a city in Mississippi, a little town in Mississippi. But when I went to college, I went to school at Jackson State.
Shout it out. Where'd you go?
Jackson State, JSU.
I love that for you.
And I remember my orientation, and I told them I was from Grenada. They thought I was from the country.
The country, yeah.
No. Yeah, so I'm originally, and then as a kid, we moved from Mississippi to Chicago, of course, like most of us do. And so that's
for the better opportunities going up north during those times.
So we thought, yeah.
So then you moved from Chicago to Atlanta, and what made you pick Atlanta? Like, what made you say, like, I want to go back down south?
Look, let me tell you, I used to work for AT&T, and we had this really bad winter storm, and I said, if I get out of this time, I'm not doing this no more. I went back to work, told my boss, find me somewhere it's warm. I don't care where it is.
Chicago is so cold.
It was so cold,
it's
so beautiful. And that's how the law school thing came. I said, okay, well, you want to go to law school, we'll send you to Florida. I was like, okay, cool. And then found out that may not be a good option for me. She said, have you ever been to Atlanta? Nope, never been to Atlanta. So we looked into Georgia State and John Marshall, which were really good schools at the time. So I came here, said, okay, cool, this will work. And then I started working for this law firm. And the attorney I used to work with was Attorney Leroy Johnson. Okay. I done some stuff for him. And he said, well, let's just see if you're really serious about this law school thing. And so there was a couple of cases I was working on that let me know I couldn't.
It wasn't for you. So how long did you do it all in all before you were like, yeah, I can't do this?
I worked doing different things with different law firms, but that one, it didn't take me long after about
I picked up real quick.
Yeah, I said, no, I can't do that. Yeah.
Okay, and then Atlanta is just home. You've never lived anywhere else?
Never lived. It? No, I've lived other places. I've lived other places. Well, no, I guess you could say not long enough to call it home.
You're like, did you get a driver's license?
I did not get a driver's license.
Okay, that's how you know.
That's how you know. So yeah, Atlanta has been, Atlanta's a beautiful city.
I love Atlanta.
It's a beautiful city. There's a lot here to do. But if you get caught up in the clique of things, then you're going to start saying Atlanta's all, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Atlanta's great.
I will say, as great as Atlanta is, the traffic is terrible. Like horrible. Even coming here today,
any time of night, any time of day or night.
It doesn't, unless you're out at like 1, 2 in the morning, but sometimes like when I'm going to the airport at like 6 a.m., it's still like
always.
The traffic is wild.
Yeah. There's not a good block of time other than.
There's never a good time. Okay. Do you think that specifically like Atlanta influenced any of your success or?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's why I have this school here. The school is located right across. If you come in, you'll see John Lewis mural over there. Go further down, you got the King Center. This could be considered as Wall Street, Black Wall Street. The reason why I have this school here is for one, I'm sure Martin is feeling pretty good because we are adding to what he would want this to be for the kids, sake. I'm trying to build off of his legacy. And so, yeah, that's why I like it down here. Wouldn't have it no other way.
Did you, since you came here, like, have you done a lot of networking and like, did you find it easier to network here versus Chicago?
Oh, now, yes, indeed, because Chicago is a beast. You have to know the right people, focus on exactly, it's more of a straight focus. Here in Atlanta, you can just throw the paint on the wall and something will stick. Okay. It's not like that in Chicago.
So you're like, you were able to flourish here due to the...
Yeah, and it's so many opportunities. And I'm like, come on, y'all, you can make it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think anybody can make it in Atlanta?
Anybody can make it any way that they want to make it if they really want to make it, but it's just a little easier being here.
Do you think it helps because of the amount of Black people?
Not at all.
What do you think makes it so...
You're not intimidated to go to the court system or down to Secretary of State to try to apply for a business license or apply for to get your business set up. In Chicago, it's a little bit more effort. You're just not going to randomly go down to the Twin Towers. Okay, I want to register my business. It's it's a lot easier.
A little more
to
like
work.
red tape.
Yeah, and it's not as intimidating to be here to start a business as it is in a bigger city like Chicago or New York or LA, even for that matter.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for, like, you've done so many different things and your background is just very diverse.
Right.
So do you have any advice for, like, any entrepreneurs that are like, I have an idea, but I'm not sure, or just like somebody that thinks like a 9-to-5 might not be for them? Like, you work with kids.
Right.
So is there anything that you have?
A couple of things. For one, I would say the only way you don't make it with anything you decide to do is if you quit. Regardless to how bad it looks, whatever's going on, the day you quit was the day that was too much for you to handle. And that very time you did quit might have been the time if you had just went one more step.
It's like that meme with the guy like
Yeah.
at the coal mine and he's like almost at the diamond and then he gives up and then somebody else is above him and they make
Right.
it.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
don't stop.
it's really like, I'm telling you, being in business, being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not easy. Get you a God that you can call your own. Don't let nobody fool you. You need to have some. To me, I feel like there's a God in me. I'm just not the creator of me. Get that? So, but you need that. You do need that, because if you don't find something to lean on, you can lean on anything that will definitely crumble for you. I promise you that. So, yeah, I would tell anybody in business, don't be afraid. You only get one shot at this, just one. I don't know nobody that died and came back and said, oh, guess what?
I did this last week.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What do you think was the hardest part about like everything? Like as far as entrepreneurial goes, like what was the hardest thing for you to kind of like figure out and make work?
Every day, actually, the hardest part is not every day, but some days the hardest thing, fear makes you feel like it's something hard. It could be something simple, but fear with every day or every other day or every moment, every little thing can make you afraid. Perfect example, I have Kids and Chefs is trademarked and everything. But for a long time, I would be afraid somebody's gonna take this from me. I need to hurry and trademark. But you can't work in fear, and that's just something simple. It had nothing to do with money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So fear will have you scared every day, even if you got the money.
You're like, don't let it hold you back.
Don't let it hold you back.
I feel like that, and then the fear of like everybody else is already doing it. So like you don't want to do it because it's like, well, there's already 6 people doing this.
Right.
Like I can't get into. Do you ever have those feelings?
No, I don't think nobody doing nothing.
You're like, I'm doing it.
I'm doing, this is my lane. Stay in your lane. I don't care if there's several different brands of cookies. They're still called cookies, but yours could be different than somebody else's.
That's so true.
You know?
That's so true.
Yeah, don't be intimidated, and stop listening to what everybody else got to say, because people will have something to say about you regardless of whether you're doing it right, whether you're doing it wrong,
up, down, whatever.
Down. Everybody has an opinion, especially those people that ain't doing nothing.
They're the loudest.
Be loudest. Be loudest. Yep.
Did you have any like really valuable lessons that you learned in like any of your careers that you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Do you have like a top 2 that are like, this stuck with me?
Yeah. The main one of the main ones is racism is real.
You think with our people or other people or both?
So racism and judgment almost overlap in my mind sometimes. Judgmental people and racism, they first cousin. Yeah. You know, racism in a sense don't like you because of how you look, your choices that you make and stuff like that. Judgmental is no matter what you do, people still have something to say. Both are negative. They overlap. And one of the things I think I had a problem with is for a minute I wouldn't do things because I was worried about what other people thought or what they have to say. Specifically, then get this, it's not the people you don't know. You know who scares you the most? Your close friends and family.
Oh yeah, because they actually know you.
They know you.
It's like, who does he think he is?
They know who you was, but they don't know the change that you made. They can only embrace who you embrace. They only know who you was at the time. But you don't know this person that's changing to be better. They just seem not to be able to see that.
Or not even that, they just know like a version of you.
Right.
Like if you left home really young, they don't know you as an adult.
Right.
So people try to pigeonhole you where they met you.
Right. And sometimes you don't know you till you reach out and be like, I never thought I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know, hell, they ain't gonna know.
Man, you're over here preaching today. What local partnerships do you have?
So Delta Community Credit Union, shout out to Delta. Delta Community Credit Union has been one of our best sponsors, and not just in terms of dollar amounts.
That's what I was gonna ask. How do they help? Like, what do they?
Actually, when I first started Kids and Chefs, the person that was on the philanthropic giving thing sat me down and told me how to request help and assistance. She walked me through it instead of me
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, figuring it out and then doing it wrong and not asking the right questions or not giving the right information or going about it, doing it the wrong way. Because, sometimes we take shortcuts that will cost us. For instance, that EI.
Your EIN.
Instead of you getting the EIN, you go get one of these other little numbers, listen to other people, get your tax ID and get it right.
Yeah.
Because I promise you,
file with the government. It's very easy.
It's easy, and stop being afraid of taxes. I mean, hell, you bought some stuff, you got to pay for taxes, but you can't get around it.
Yeah, I do feel like you have to have like a really good accountant because I'm not going to say you can't get around it. I do hate that like we're taxed 4 times on our money, but I mean, I just did my taxes the other day and my lady's so funny. She's like, you need a W-2 to offset your state and federal because nothing's taken out because I'm a 1099.
Right.
So it's like, I'm never going to not have to pay something.
Right.
But I mean, you can just definitely get that number down if you know your deductions.
Right.
So like you definitely have to hire people.
Yeah, you do. You need people, and your business is not growing if you're the only one doing the business, and you can only grow as far as you are.
Yeah.
I realized my business was growing when I realized I got 12 people working for me because now I couldn't do nothing what they're doing at the same time what I have to do.
It's hard to like juggle everything. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
So Delta Community.
Yeah, Delta Community has been one of my best ones. And then we have like little small sponsors, other people. There's a doctor. He has a group. He has a foundation.
Okay.
And he will randomly send us a donation, and he's been really, really good. And
that's amazing. Yeah, do you want to shout him out, or you want to keep it to yourself?
I think he probably would run. I think he probably wouldn't want because he don't want everybody asking.
Okay, he doesn't have to have it. Listen,
yeah,
you don't want people in your pockets. Yeah, he said, "I got my tax deduction. Don't come back."
And call, and as a matter of fact, we got a donation that I didn't even know was coming. I had no idea, none at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's the beginning of the year, so that's kind of when they usually send it. But
either the beginning or the end when they realize
let's do that.
I need some write-offs.
Yeah, so, I've had other friends and family that do that, but my biggest corporate sponsor has been definitely Delta. Now Sam's has been great too. Sam's has been really, really good to us as well.
Yeah.
And they still good. They still do stuff for us all the time.
That's good.
Yeah. So Delta and Sam's is my 2 favorite.
Your top 2.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you feel like is your biggest the biggest thing that you've given back to the community so far?
Helping doing stuff with the kids and the seniors.
Yeah. So the kids are chefs and like everything it encompasses.
Yeah. Helping with so that thing we do Senior Saturdays. I've had seniors that tell me people thought that we have forgotten about them or people have forgotten about them. So they come here and they get a chance to just release and everything. So I think my biggest contribution is going back to the seniors saying, listen, we here, what can we do? And they talk about everything down to, I don't have enough money for I can't, pay my bills and Medicaid. They talk about everything while we cooking, so that's probably, I think, would be one of the bigger things.
It's really interesting too that you work with kids that are so young and then seniors that are like on that spectrum because, at some point they kind of like revert back to the kids.
Right.
So it's like you really just have kids.
Right. Yep. So I figure the people in the middle, they'll be all right. But the younger ones got to try to get here. And the older ones got to know we appreciate what you've already done.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So you have a lot of people that have helped you get to where you are. Mm-hmm. Are you a Marvel fan?
No.
Are you familiar with the Avengers?
I am. Which one?
Okay. If you were to develop your own Avengers team, like you have your own squad, what would you do? Who would be on your team? Who would you pick?
So I wouldn't have a team to pick. I would just be one superhero with a lot of supporting.
That's what the Avengers are, depending on how you look at it.
But they're part of Marvel. I don't want to be a Marvel. I don't want to be in I don't want to be on the umbrella. I just want to be Superman.
So pick 4 people that would be on your team. You're Superman, and then who are you just gonna pull? Who are you pulling?
Okay. So
let's get 4.
Okay. So I would definitely get. So the people that work for me now, so it would be Nadal, which has been here with me for a while.
What do they do?
So Nadal does anything pertaining to repairs, making sure everything is run properly, ordering things, make sure all our stuff.
Your operations.
Operation, yeah.
Okay.
And he started out one thing and ended up doing this, so
Okay.
he's done a little of everything except for using the camera. So Nada would be one, Felicia would be another. Felicia's my assistant. She covers all things. Before it gets to me, it gets to Felicia
So
first.
she's like your second brain.
Yeah. By the time it gets to me, it's all vetted out. All I have to do is say yes or no.
Okay.
Because she'll tell me, that would be one. And then there's Sharon. Sharon is a retired school teacher. And so Sharon helps me on the education side of all the things that I should know, need to know, how it probably works, the functionality of something simple as
like a curriculum-based type?
Curriculum-based thing, and then how to deal with parents and how to deal with kids. Sharon knows all of that, and she's So
these
Sharon,
kids and parents are very different.
Yes.
They're
So
very
Sharon
different.
would be the other person, and then I guess the other superhero would be like Snoop Dogg, be me.
Yeah, I love it. And what is it that you do? Everything?
Everything.
Yeah, like everything.
Everything from the cooking to the sweeping to the cleaning to the writing the program.
Not the sweeping.
Yep.
What trends or opportunities in Atlanta excite you for the future of your business?
The World Cup coming up. I'm trying to figure out how we can interact with the World Cup, and I think one way we could do it, the World Cup, bringing all these different cultures here, and they can bring their kids.
Because it's coming in what,
2026.
26?
So World Cup, bring your kids when you get ready to come to the Cup. Let them come over here, and we can teach them how to cook some food.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for you?
So we have a line of, I'll tell you. So we have, as far as the school is concerned, the next thing is aviation program. We add the aviation to the school. I'm trying to help them get that done. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but I'm so excited about that. The next thing, by the end of this year, we have a toy version of our cookware coming out, because we do have cookware, but we're trying to create a toy version. So the little young ones that I had today will start playing with the cookware, and by the time they,
So let's back up. You have cookware. What's on your cookware line?
It has
what do you have?
kids, our chefs. We have a 6-piece cookware set.
Okay.
And then on the handle of it has
Your
kids
logo.
and chefs, the logo on, and then the handles are tempered so they don't get that hot. But it's a really good cookware.
Is it smaller, like for children, or is it for adults? It's just branded.
It's like when we was kids, you was going in the kitchen trying to learn how to cook on the same pots our parents had.
Do you use something specific? I know there's like the whole don't use Teflon, stainless steel,
So
do
all
this,
of my
do
cookware
cast iron, do this. What is it?
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel, okay.
Yeah, it's stainless steel, and the 6-ply is real. It's not cheap. It's not cheaply made. And our cookware stands out because it's various colors. Because right now we have 4 different colors, 3 different colors: red, green, and blue. Okay. And so the toy version is going to be exact like the cookware, except it's going to be a toy version. And then we are remaking the Easy Bake Oven.
Really?
Yeah, but it has a different name to it that I can't tell you. But
I mean, of course, because you can't use Easy Bake. I'm pretty sure Betty Crocker is going to find you and sue you.
Yeah, Easy Bake. We're going to ease them right on out.
Yeah. I haven't seen an Easy Bake, though, in years.
No, because
I don't think they have them anymore. Because I remember you used to go, you'd have to get the oven and then get everything separate.
Right.
So are you kind of doing it like where it's separate or it's together?
So you'll get your cookware, and then we have our own line of foods that'll be to go with it.
Okay. Do you have like an email list or something where people could sign up and find out?
Yes, go online and then we have a newsletter. Okay. And then we keep you posted on what's going on. But when that oven comes out, you'll know.
That's gonna be amazing.
I'm excited about that. So that's my next biggest.
Okay. Yeah. And then you have some smaller things you're working on?
Yeah, most definitely.
Do you want to tell, or is it a secret?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. You can be secretive. Are the kids' cookware, is it gonna be plastic?
So, I'm struggling now with 2 things. I wanted to have a safety concern to make sure that it's safe, and to make sure it's biodegradable, something similar, something like that is what it's looking at. So it's a form of plastic, but it's more of a biodegraded type of material.
Okay. Are you like BPA free? Do you use a lot of glass when you cook? Do you try to?
So not when we cook, because we won't necessarily have to have a use for glass.
But I know they say like the silicone is better, or the wood, versus like just the plastic.
So what we cook is, you can't see the stove, but we use cast iron skillets.
I love a cast iron skillet.
Yeah, and so that's a little challenging. But once we put them up there and the kids start cooking with them, it's cool. So we try to use cast iron. We have used stainless non-stick supposedly be safer where the stuff don't come off, but yeah. I'm not sure I really trust that, so I try to get them to use more of the cast iron. Well, most of the cooking we do if I
So
can.
they'll either use cast iron or your product line.
Right.
Okay. And what do you like better, your product line or the cast iron? Or does it? Yeah.
Man,
I didn't know if it depends on like what you're making for the cast iron.
Well, so to be honest with you, it does depend on what you're making. So for instance, if you're making, if you're doing something that's seared, cast iron's a little hard to use. You have to use a certain type of oil so it does not stick.
Very hot.
It's very hot and it will stick. So you have to be careful with that. That's why non-stick is kind of a lot more optional type thing. But when you're sauteing stuff, you tend to want to use more water than you do oil. That way it doesn't stick.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little oil and water mix.
I need to write these little tips down because I definitely like to cook and these are all great. Ooh. Do you think that you're risky?
Very. I couldn't be in business if I didn't take risks.
So what's the biggest business risk that you've taken?
Every day I get up fighting to make sure this is going to do what I needed to do, which is be nationwide. That's a risk.
Where else are you?
So we have online. We have our online classes you can take as well as in person. So we kind of we have people that are taking classes from another state are taking out online cooking classes.
How many states are you in so far?
So anywhere you can log on the internet. I've seen where we had this kid that's online watching some of our courses in LA.
I love that.
I was like,
in your online courses, you teach the same stuff here?
So
sewing?
Online, you can see the sewing classes and you can see the cooking classes. Now, when our regular classes are going on and you sign up for Kids or Chef, you can see the classroom, like kind of a webinar type thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, when they're taking, except for the cursive writing classes, you can't teach that webinar.
You teach cursive?
Yes.
That's so funny.
I have the reason why I wanted to do it, but there's one of my employees. I'm not gonna say out of 12.
You don't have to bust them out.
We had some mail, but your team knows who this is. We had some mail to come in one day, and I said, I was looking for a certain piece of mail. I was like, where's the mail? I was like, I'm not sure if this is it. I'm like, what do you mean? I said, can you read? And then everybody's like freezing. Nobody's saying anything. I said, does it have Atlanta anything on? I think so. And so I said, why y'all can't read it? And they said, because it's in cursive writing.
Do you know I heard the school stop teaching cursive?
Yeah, but they hadn't stopped teaching cursive when they were in school.
But I'll say for me, I'm 30 and I learned cursive in 3rd grade.
Right.
And we learned it. They taught us all the letters and then they made us focus on our name and then we never used it again.
Never used it again, yeah.
But my grandma used to write me in cursive all the time. And my sister-in-law, she writes in cursive all the time. So like I can read cursive,
right?
But so many children now, it's not in the schools.
All adults.
Yeah, and they can't read it.
Yeah.
Like they just literally can't, which is crazy when you think about like history. Because how are they going to read like the Declaration of Independence?
So get this.
How are they going to read those things?
When you have a document that says sign and print your name, when it gets to the sign part or printing it, like, well, which one should I use? Well, which one? You don't know how to do cursive, right? So you print and then you sign your name. And if you can't sign, they'll just make a scribble.
A scribble. And then that's how you can really get fraud like real fast. Because what?
And cursive writing is so important. Now, other people
do you teach calligraphy or just cursive?
Just cursive.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And people don't think cursive is important. But if you want to hide something from some of us,
write it in cursive.
Write in cursive.
They used to say put it in a book. Now you just got to write it in cursive.
You do both things. Nobody ain't gonna know nothing.
Nobody's going to find it.
Yeah. But my kids, the ones that learn it, they love it.
I love cursive. Yeah. I feel like you can write faster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's harder, I think, for the lefties.
Right.
Because they're going to.
But I've seen some left-handed cursive writing people, and they have the best looking penmanship, and it's just like, oh, I wish I could. And they tend to be artists most of the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like that side of the brain.
Right.
Okay, so we got a little off track. I'm sorry. So cursive, cooking, sewing.
Health and wellness, nutrition, fitness. We teach fitness as well.
Okay.
I don't want to leave nobody out because they will bring it up. And math. And
do you do STEM, like science, technology, engineering,
coding.
and math?
So I've been teaching the kids coding. Last camp we did coding and cooking at the same time. And so I taught them, I said, name me 6 programming languages and remember them when we're cooking. So we could be in here cooking. I said, somebody give me a programming language, and they'll be cooking and they'll call it out.
That's so funny.
I'll
And
tell
what
them,
age group is that?
these are my kids that come for the camp, like from 8.
So it could be
10.
anything.
Mhm.
Okay.
And they learned what really got them into it. They like roadblocks, which is
Oh my gosh, yes, I know what it is.
roadblocks.
Yes.
I said, what if I taught y'all how to make your own roadblocks? And they're like, well, how you gonna do that? I said, what if I taught you how to build your own game,
I know
just
they
like
lit
roadblocks?
up.
And they said, well, how you gonna do that? I said, you need to learn C and C++. So that was a programming language that stuck with them, because Roblox is built on C and C++.
And I guess all of your classes kind of go together because even with cooking, like you use math.
Right.
Like if you're doing a fourth or if you need a half or if you
Right.
don't have a measuring cup, that's a half and then you have a fourth, you know, you can do 2. So I guess it all kind of...
It does. And although we'll be saying, I'll never use no math, then you must not be cooking. You must not be...
I'll say I don't really do like...
You don't do algebra.
Yeah, not algebra. I would say like trigonometry and geometry. Like I'm not finding the Pythagorean theorem on anything,
Right.
but I'm definitely using my fractions.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like addition, subtraction,
And
multiplication, division.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I haven't had to figure out if, you know, I'm standing here and the tree is here. Can I jump up there?
Only time you could possibly may have to use that is if the world got to the point where technology didn't do it for you. And then you realize you have to go back to basics and say, okay, so if it's pointing this way, that must mean that.
For sure.
You know, so
but even then, I never had a desire to be an architect, so I think I'll be all right. You don't want me to build it.
Right. But if you bought a home and you know your angles and stuff, you'd be like, no, y'all, that ain't.
Listen, building a home in Atlanta is not it. I don't even think these architects and builders are correct. I have several friends that have built, and it's terrible.
Right.
I don't think they did the math.
Right.
They needed to be in your classes.
Right.
What's your favorite class that you have here?
Reading.
Reading?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Reading is like the key to any and everything you're gonna need. I don't care.
Like you're teaching them to read, or you
Oh, yeah,
just
we
have
have-
like reading
We
time?
have kids that we try to teach them reading that made it to advance or improve where they are.
Because I love to read. That's why I'm
improve their
asking.
reading skills. Yeah. And I try to get even my friends. I was like, okay, y'all, it's this book you should try. We have a book that we're teaching the kids for spring camp. It was written by Melanie Hobson.
Okay.
And it's called Priceless. Jesus, I want to name it. It's a book teaching them about money.
Okay.
But I can't remember. But we're using that book for spring camp, teaching kids how to understand money. And it's real simple. It's a good book, but it's something that kids and adults both can use. Like, for instance, she has 10 different ways, 10 different words that they call money, like cheese, dinero, all those different things.
I got
And she
you.
tells where it comes from. And talk to you about why and how to use money. But
That's so cool. I'm going to need you to send that to me because I definitely need that.
It's really a good book. But we're using a book by Melanie Hobson on, it's a book teaching you about money. I'm sorry, Melanie, I don't remember right this
We'll
time.
include it later. You're good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book or favorite author? Do you have one?
Yes.
What?
Outwitting the Devil.
Okay. By who?
Napoleon Hill.
And why is that your favorite? Everybody loves Napoleon Hill.
He wrote this book called Outwitting the Devil. Well, so that one, and also
Don't say Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
no, not in the tradition. So let me
I like
just say-
Robert Kiyosaki though. Don't come for me later. I like Robert Kiyosaki.
Not that one either. But The Richest Man in Babylon is another. If
That
you're
is
a
a good
business
book.
person, you want to read The Richest Man in
That is a good
Babylon,
book.
and you want to read Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil is about this man interviewing the devil. He was a businessman. He's interviewing the devil, talking to him about life and this, that, and the third. Long story short, he asks the devil, what does he use to conquer people? And then the devil goes, don't call me devil because I've earned enough souls. Call me your Royal Highness, something crazy. It's really a good book, right? So then he's saying, what I use is I use people's health. I started using their money. I get into their money problems, and then I started making them doubt themselves, you know, and all that stuff. He said, I go into the schools. If you notice, all the schools now have standardized tests. It's A, B, C, or yes or no. So they give you the answer. So I get into the kid's brain and don't make them think anymore. So that's a little bit more about. So that's Outwitting the Devil. And The Richest Man in Babylon is about this man that was broke, and he owed so many people money, and they didn't want to help him anymore. And so what he did was when he started making money, he started paying a little bit to everybody and a little bit to himself, and then some he would save. And so, for instance, if I owed you $10, so Ash, I can only give you a dime or nickel. Some of them really talk to him bad. But over a period of time, he got those debts down, and
Yeah.
then he ended up being the richest man in Babylon because of the money he saved and as time. And then some of the friends that he had started talking to him about, well, if you need anything, he's like, no, I'm good. So, but him and his wife didn't want to go to events and stuff because people would talk about him, how much debt he was in. So, Richest Man in Babylon is such a good book.
No, it sounds, both of your books are like more entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's your realm. Do
Yes.
you relay that over with the kids
So no,
and the seniors,
so
or do you keep it kind of
I don't
fluid?
talk to them about those. I don't teach them about entrepreneurship as much and use those two books because that might be a little too advanced for the kids. And
But like the 17-year-olds, if they're interested.
so
or
we don't have as many
16.
17. We had a group of 17-year-olds here from Jack and Jill that came
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago, and they were amazing. These were kids that were headed from to college.
Yeah.
So we don't get the 17-year-old as often as we would
So
like.
your main age group is what right now?
That's 12, all the way up to 12 is the main one. 13, we might get them at 13 sometimes.
So you have a gap between 13 and 17. So if anybody has teens,
Yeah.
bring them on over.
Bring them, because usually at 15, you'd be like, yeah, I'm staying home, I'm grown, I don't want to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, at 15, you kind of got to learn to cook and get it together because you'll be out the house. And
Yeah.
Maybe you need to partner with some of the high schools, maybe.
So we are partnering with APS.
Okay.
We're a vendor for APS.
I have no
So
idea where that is.
Yeah, Atlanta Public School System.
Okay.
Yeah, they can come they can come.
You know I'm not from here, and I don't have kids, so I don't.
listen, I know, no. Yeah, they can team up with the school system here.
That'll be good.
Yeah, and they come here, or we try to get them to come here. But Atlanta Public School System, y'all can listen, y'all know y'all so political, but that's another story.
Don't get in trouble.
I'm not.
Don't get in trouble.
They don't get them no money, but
Back, since we're on entrepreneurship, what is one thing that you think people get wrong about being an entrepreneur?
that is easy and that you just have all the time in the world, like you just like you
La,
don't have
la,
nothing,
la,
la, like you ain't got nothing to do. And y'all, let me tell you, that is the worst thing because there's a lot of things I want to do, Ashley, but I usually say it's just like I can't come outside and play till I finish my homework. And that's my life. I want to go to a lot more football games. I want to go to a lot of basketball. I want to hang out with some of my friends, but I can't. And you know what happens when you don't do that? You lose a lot of people because they think like, well, you don't have to, but you'll lose people. Or they just like, you ain't got no money. You know, they'll just drop you. They'll just drop you, you know, and you want to go so bad. I've watched on social media some of my friends doing all these things, and I could just only want to go. But unfortunately, I may not be able to go. I might have payroll. I might have this. I might have that. It's like, I simply can't afford to go. And they're looking at you like,
knowing when to, I don't have it.
Yeah, and they're like, you got that big old school. It's like, I almost said a bad word. But anyway, you got this big old school.
Big old school means big old bills.
Right.
Big old staff, big old overhead.
Yeah, and you can't do it. It's called sacrifice.
Yeah.
But people say they want to be in business, but everybody ain't about this life. You got to really be about this life because you're going to lose friends, family. There have been times I wanted to go to a family event and couldn't go. And then got joked on. I was like, you don't never show up. Like, listen, don't get me started. You want to show up. I've missed funerals that I wanted to go to and financially couldn't go. So, you know, being in business is
a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How do you balance? Like, how is it that you find the balance? And are there any tools that you use to help you, like, stay organized? And
start loving on yourself first. Put yourself first. Make sure your health is number one before the money.
Did you become vegan because of health reasons?
I just decided, my mom was always into this little health thing. So I kind of got it from her.
Okay.
And it just went on and spiraled into some. Now my siblings, they ain't paying it no attention. Like, you look, this you and your mom's like, okay, I tried to help y'all, but yeah.
It's like that sometimes.
But yeah, your health has to be number one. And then the rest, because if you're not healthy, you ain't got nothing to fight with.
Yeah.
It will mess up your mind mentally and everything. You just can't figure out why. Because you will have some rough days, even though you are eating healthy. But you will have rougher days if you're challenged with all type of health issues.
Eating is only like half the battle.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't know, and this is so mean, but this girl in high school always used to like bully everybody that wasn't like vegan. She was like, I'm vegan. You guys you're eating an animal. Oh my God. And she was just so annoying. And I was just really annoyed. And I was like, how are you a fat vegan?
Oh, that's...
Like, I just didn't understand. And I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was really like, you make it seem like you're so much healthier than us, but you're literally obese. Like, how does that work? So how is it that you cannot have that healthy balance if you are eating healthy?
The people out there that's vegan know you know better, because vegan simply means you don't eat animal products.
Right. So no dairy, no milk, no cheese, no meat, no
But
fish.
you can eat potato chips, cookies, all those kind of
Right.
things. You know, you're eating all these other foods.
My doctor explained this to me. He was like, because I got in so much trouble. My mom made me go to the doctor, and then we talked, and he was like, what happened? And I was like, I just called her fat vegan because that's what she is. And I just didn't understand how she could be fat. Like, how does that work? And he said the same thing. He's like, well, just because she's not eating meat doesn't mean she's not eating 4 bags of potato chips when she goes home. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and look, and I love potato chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, so potato chips, eating all those kind of snack junk foods and stuff, and you're not eating green vegetables that you need for your body to have the nutritional value that it needs, then you might well stop trying to be vegan. Eat what you're gonna eat.
As a vegan, what are your favorite places to shop?
The farmers market.
I love farmers markets. What's your favorite ones in Atlanta?
The Cab Farmers Market is my favorite.
I haven't been there yet. I've heard nothing but good things.
Oh my God, it's all. I did an interview with the owners of the Cab Farmers Market, and he remembered me the last time I was there, and that was years ago. I went through the insides of the farmers market, behind the scenes, everything. It's amazing, even down to what they determine what's organic and what's not, and the verification process of making sure before you put it in their place, if it's going to be marked organic, it has to be.
Like, I love Trader Joe's, but that's one of like my biggest issues with them is it'll say organic seedless watermelon, organic seedless grapes. You can't be organic and seedless. Like, that's just not a thing.
Right.
And so many people don't understand that. And it's like, it doesn't go.
Right.
And I'm not saying all their products are bad, because like I love their flowers, I love their stuff, but it's just the organic seedless I can't get behind.
Nah. And I mean, how you grow it if you don't have a seed?
Right. Because realistically, if we're not here, it's just going to fall.
Right.
It's going to go into the ground and then grow and start all over again.
Right.
Or an animal eats it, it's passed, and then it grows.
Right.
If you don't have any seeds, that just drives me nuts. Or like the cotton candy big grapes.
Yeah.
Like,
sweet.
how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Too much something in it.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd want to leave everybody with, or want people to know about you?
Yes. One thing I want to leave with you, as I said earlier, make sure if you have a vision or dream of something you want to do, don't pay attention to other people. People can have something to say regards to what you're never going to get it right. Focus on the gifts that you have.
Okay.
You know, in order to make your vision come true. A lot of times people will say about I'm chasing my purpose. Every day is your purpose. Every day you get up is a purpose. There's no such thing as 5 years from now, I found my purpose.
And I don't think there's such thing as like one purpose.
No, it's not.
Because it could be to educate people in different ways. Like if you were like, I'm only going to teach them how to cook, like you'd miss your whole other side.
Or just simply telling somebody have a good day. That was your purpose, and you might have saved them and not even known.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
Do you want to share your social media handles so people can follow you?
So you can go to chefs.com.
You got it on the shirt and everything.
Yep. And this is Kids Are Chefs, not Kids Are Chess. I don't know why people be like, don't try me like this.
Because they can't read the cursive. That's why they need to take your class.
I do know that's what it is. I'm not changing my logo. It's going to be Kids Are Chefs. It's your first cursive writing class.
I love it. Thank you so much, Alvin. I really appreciate you being here.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Bye, guys. This was The Bridge Views.